everybody. Doug from Tech Dad here. Welcome to the channel this week. This week we'll be talking about another tech career. It's really one of the more recent ones. Recent in the last 15-20 years, but still more recent than some. And that's cybersecurity engineer. So what exactly is cybersecurity anyway? So cybersecurity really is involved with a couple of different things. One is, of course, things like malware and endpoint security on devices and things. The other area is around access management and identity and authorization. So those are a couple of the topics that fall in this realm. And so in our world today, identity theft is a big deal. And so being able to have engineers on your enterprise team to help protect your company's environment and your clients' environments that you're providing services for is really important. So let's talk a little bit about what cybersecurity engineers do. Well, one of the things is that, of course, that they have to be team players because they're going to be working with both the business and the IT group to ensure that security happens. This also includes the development team, whoever's building the applications, because security needs to be thought about and embedded in that as well. So they need to be really good team players. Another thing is that they have to be skilled in the technology components, the products that make up these different levels of security. So there are endpoint security things like you've heard of Symantec and McAfee and things like that in the past for the endpoint stuff. But those products have really matured over the course of time. And actually, Microsoft actually embeds some of that into Windows Defender today. And so, it's gotten better and better over time. The other side of it I mentioned was access management. So access management, you have players like ForgeRock and Okta, and Microsoft plays in this as well. These products are, you probably use them for single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, which is MFA. That's where you get a text on your phone that you have to enter the code in order to get in, sort of thing. So we'll continue to see improvements in that area. But you, as a cybersecurity engineer, have to be experts in those technologies. Another thing that comes about with this is the certifications in those products. So you need to be certified in those products in order to effectively use them. And I also would say to you that you really do need a 4-year IT degree because you need to understand all the different components of what you're protecting, whether that's directories, applications, data, etc. So lots of knowledge needed about general computer topics. It should be noted that we're also moving to something called passwordless authentication. That means that you wouldn't enter any password at all. So some of that might be, you might have a Mac or something with a fingerprint recognition or visual on your phone for your eyes to get into your phone, things like that. So there's a lot of movement towards passwordless authentication. Passwords are a blessing and a curse, right? To have an effective password, it needs to be probably a minimum of 12 characters. And of course, people use the same password for everything, which is a problem. And trying to manage and remember those passwords is a serious problem. And so, things like LastPass and Google and Apple both have built-in products on their phones for, storing your passwords. It's a big deal. So trying to manage passwords as a human is a tough topic. And so, moving forward, we should expect to see continual changes in that area. As we move on in terms of where this is going in the future. I think it's going to be harder and harder to manage access and authorization to the products, because as artificial intelligence gets involved, you'll have AI bots that can mimic humans and do all sorts of crazy things. So it's going to become tougher and tougher. The last part of it is really, we talked about kind of endpoint security with your devices. We talked about authorization with your passwords. The last part is really about access rights. And so we refer to that as access management, but it really is involved around what rights do you have to different applications in your company's portfolio. So, you may be just a viewer of some data. You might be an editor of some data. So being able to give someone roles and rights and privileges is an important aspect to manage in the enterprise. And as you deal with thousands and thousands of users, it becomes much more difficult over time. So being able to have authorization groups and things like that set up in your directories and in your products really helps a lot. And so we'll see a lot of continued movement there. Next, in terms of cybersecurity is, where is cybersecurity applied? We talked about phones, we talked about computers. Where's the next area is it going to be applied? Because what we're finding is more and more different devices now coming to the to the organization. Maybe some of them have been used personally at home, but not in the business or the enterprise. And so as people are bringing more and more different devices types into the enterprise, you're going to see more and more security around that as well. All right, folks. Well, that's the discussion for this week on cybersecurity engineers. I'd love for you to like, subscribe, and leave some comments below about what you think about it. And until next time, we'll pick this up on a different career in IT. Hope you have a good one. Bye now.